Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Stephanie Arell, and I'm going to give you a brief review of my top books, movies, songs, TV shows, and my quote of the year. The first book is Grit by Angela Duckworth, nonfiction, all about what it takes to succeed in the world, but not really about what to do, more about what you have internally and sort of a measure of what you have internally, about how to push through and continue to accomplish your goals. I picked it because my husband and I are trying to compare who has more grit. We tested exactly the same. My second book is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. Now, this is a thriller, and it's actually a simple read, but it will take you along with it. Like, you will not be able to put this book down. I started reading it just to look at some writing styles because I heard he was an excellent author, and I was not disappointed. So, The Business of Being a Writer by Jane Friedman, who writes The Hot Sheet. And if anybody's interested in the publishing world or writing in general, she's definitely someone to follow and get her newsletter. That book is just a resource book for anybody who's interested in writing, who's interested in blogging, who's interested, I think, even in podcasting, because it helps you understand how to make a business out of doing these types of narrations. My fourth book is mine. Kind of had to pick that one. Bearing Witness, The Wounds of Trauma at Memorial Museums. It's a collection of voices of people who do the commemoration of mass trauma around the world, mediating the experience of human suffering after human violence and doing it in a way that's characteristic of a vocation, full of meaning and purpose. And the book is my efforts to make their voices heard. And my top book of the year is Bravey by Alexi Pappas. Excellent book. Alexi was an Olympic runner for Greece, and she wrote this book about her experience as a runner, her experience as a woman in the world, an experience as a daughter who lost her mother to suicide. The story is not only compelling, but full of meaning and really inspirational. I have a little bit of the macabre, so now we're going to move to the movies. And my first choice movie of the year is The Killer. Yeah, it's a little bit dark, but it is a really interesting study of the human mind, especially the human mind that goes to such extremes. The story is really based around a hitman in a strike that goes wrong, and then it follows the repercussions of that mistake. My second movie of the year is Wakanda Forever. And it's actually from 2 years ago, but excellent film. Angela Bassett, we had the same English teacher. So really inspired by her work. And this movie just takes all women, and especially Black women, along a ride to think about what it means to look at cultures that would be created in a different paradigm than the patriarchal paradigm. And then I have to pick for my third choice, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Really phenomenal film, lots of action going on, lots of different characters and complex characters. Looking at, I think, on one side, the amount of input we have in our lives daily and how that level of input changes our perception of reality. And then my favorite movie of the year has to be Nyad with Annette Bening and Jodie Foster. First, I love anything Jodie Foster touches. I think she's an amazing actress and an amazing director. This movie looks at female athleticism and really does a good job at conveying what grit, to go back to my book by Angela Duckworth, what grit really means. To move on to TV shows, I think I'm picking everything on Netflix. The first would be the show Made. Does a very good job at illustrating what's at stake for women who find themselves in domestic violence circumstances, who are on the edge of homelessness, who may have to find transitional housing, and how one particular woman manages this with a child and finds her way out of the maze that is created by systems that don't do a good job at supporting women in this kind of position. Ginny and Georgia has to be another favorite. I think the show is compelling. I enjoy all of the characters in the show, and I also think that it does a pretty good job at displaying what teenagers these days are faced with in terms of social media, in terms of a sense of lack of control, in terms of harm that they may do to themselves when they're struggling with ways to emit emotions or talk about emotions. I'm really excited for the next season. my all-time favorite TV show for a lot of years is Survivor. Now, not everybody knows this, but I auditioned to be on Survivor. So I really love watching the show. I'm not sure I would have done so well, not because I couldn't be a mastermind, but because I really like food and they don't get to eat much. The show's been on forever. My favorite part of the shows are when they do the challenges. Again, I think that I love things that are physical, and the people that are on that show really do exhibit a lot of grit. So now let's move on to my favorite songs. I'm gonna pick two for you. One is The Phoenix on the soundtrack of The League of Legends. The song is really compelling to me because it is about the myth of the phoenix who rises from the ashes, a Greek myth. My favorite line in the song is, "Go bury your demons and then tear down the ceiling." And I just think that also exhibits grit. My second song is Do It Like a Girl by Morgan St. John. She is a rising star. I would seriously suggest to check out her music. And this song is about doing it like a girl. My favorite quote of all times, and I have to pick it for this year, is by James Baldwin. "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." I think that that's a theme that runs throughout my YouTube station. It's a theme that I take with me through each new year, where I pick one word as a theme for my year. I haven't decided on my word for 2024. My word for 2023 was organization. That's a different story. But I do think that what James Baldwin is suggesting is that when we really face reality as it is, that we may have some capacity to change it and we may not be able to, but until we really do face what is before us, that nothing is capable of being changed.